Hello and welcome. I've gotten the second spoiler pack from Netflix for Kingdom, which is in the third wave, I believe. It's a Megatron. It's actually the same Megatron from Wave 2 Earthrise Netflix release. Just so everybody knows, for this video, I'm going to be doing a unscripted voiceover because my phone's inside of a waterproof case, so it kind of makes the audio come out bad. My mic doesn't work very well, but I've ordered an external mic, so in the future this isn't going to be an issue. So just try and stick with me as I narrate my video here. So it comes with a thing that's got Play-Doh in it. It's got this. It's got Cybertronian glyphs on here, which you can get English to Cybertronian alphabets, and you can translate that if you want. Those are the spoilers. So here it comes with the instructions. This comes with Skelevor, who is a transparent plastic reissue of Ractonite. I believe that's his name, Ractonite. If I'm getting that wrong, I apologize. You know, these are new characters. Yeah, but you get all this. You get a Matrix. You also get the Allspark with it. You get his sword. You get his cannon. And this is actually the exact same Megatron that came out for Wave 2, down to the exact paint job, down to like the weathering or whatever. Okay, this right here, this stuff smells weird, and it's weird. It's Play-Doh, that's what it is, but it smells weird, and it's all hot and baked in this, and it's got a weird texture to it. It's not something you really want to keep or play with. But you get this bag in here, which is your spoilers, hidden in the Play-Doh, which Play-Doh is owned by Hasbro, so they have that. So they're allowed to use it because they own the IP. But you get this bag in here, and it's got some blast effects and an Allspark in there. So that's what that is. But like what I was saying, you can look up the glyphs and you can translate the spoilers on the box, which is what all that writing is. So that's kind of cool. And what I was saying was, yeah, sorry. Like I said, unscripted voiceover. This goes as well as you think. So here we go. I've got a lot of Megatrons. So that right there is the original release of Siege Megatron. Then the Cell Shade. Then the Netflix. And then the second Netflix, which is exactly the same, except you got some blue paint on the cannon. And then you got Earthrise, and then here you got G2, Larkin's Lair version, and then G2 JVC or JSL Lab version. So here's going to be each of them. Now, like I said, okay, you got red on the cannon here. That's blue on the Netflix one, which I kind of like. And then here's the cell shaded. This was my first Megatron that I got out of all this. For a while, he was my only one, but I got other ones. He's got aftermarket Decepticon stickers and Exo Squad battle damage stickers on there. Same here. It's got some more stickers. So this has the red paint on the cannon, but besides from that cannon and like the damage painted on the chest, that's exactly the same as the other one. Yeah, this one, they have basically the exact same paint job. Just you get blue on the cannon and you get different damage on the chest, and it comes with all these accessories, but basically they're the same. Yeah, they all have rotating turrets, just like I showed with that other one. I think I only showed that one with the rotating turrets, sorry, but all the turrets rotate. Okay, here you got the standard Earthrise. This is actually my second one because the first one I had fell off a shelf and broke, and I customized it after that. But yeah, here you go, Earthrise. Now this has 3D printed upgrade parts to look like the original toy. These are made by Larkin's Lair. You can get it from Larkin's Lair. He's got a review on it. Several people have it. They've got reviews. You can check it out. But I really love these parts. G2, that's mine. G2 is my first one. Then here it's got, I think it's JVL Labs or JSL Labs, something like that. It's on eBay. You can find them. This has an upgrade piece too to put the cannon on the shoulder instead of the arm. But G2 back in the day in like 93 when it came out, 92, whatever it was, that was the first one that I ever owned. That was my, okay, right here, yeah, the G2 Decepticon label, that's awesome. It's got that G2 Decepticon symbol on it. So, okay, we're going to do transformation here. So this is how this Matrix comes off. This Matrix is made of a rubber that feels like an accessory that would come with the original Ninja Turtle toys. It's hollow on the other side, it's painted, it's rubber. It feels like an accessory from the 90s or the 80s that would come in a Ninja Turtle toy. I love that. I love that. And I like having a little Allspark here now. So transformation, The cannon comes out, it transforms into a sword. It's his cannon that slides in under the turret. Yeah. So you get the sword here, and you've got these little trigger things on there. Those don't need to be there, and they left that out on the Earthrise, and I'm glad, because those things are annoying and they serve no purpose except to kind of remind you of G1 a little. So these fold back, and it will compress into the backpack. The arms break apart from the turret. The turret is the arms. You can see the little trigger pieces on the shoulders. There's the hands right there. They fold out. These are 3D printed gap fillers that I have. I ordered these out of China. You can hear my dogs in the background. Hope that doesn't bother anyone. I've got dogs. But yeah, these are 3D printed gap fillers. All my Megatrons have 3D printed gap fillers on the arms. They came out of China. I didn't know they were coming from China when I ordered them. Otherwise, I might not have. But they came from China. It took months to get here, and I've got them. I got them off of eBay. I should have looked closer. I just didn't want to wait the time. Nothing against China. I just didn't want to wait months to get them. But I got them, and they're awesome. And kudos to whoever put them together, because they're dank. You can find them on eBay. But yeah, so the legs unfold. And I'm going to show this transformation a couple times, so I'll cover it. But the legs unfold just like I showed, and the waist turns around, the backpack goes down. And there you go. That is how the Siege Megatron transforms. The only downside of this transform is he doesn't have little clips to hold the head down. So the head can go up farther if you don't want it to. But besides from that, this thing is about perfect. And I couldn't even give you a real reason why I like it as much as I do. I just know that I do. I really like this Megatron. He looks like G1 sort of, but not quite. Here you can see the Allspark can peg on to one of the blast effects ports, the Bluish points. That is another downside. The Allspark, nobody can hold them. You got to put it on the arm or something like that. It's not my favorite, but it works. This Matrix, again, feels like a toy. Something a toy would have from like the 90s, and I love that. I absolutely love that. And it just kind of clips on and hangs onto the body like this, and that's just great. But this Megatron, he looks G1-y. At the same time, he looks War Within, that was drawn by Don Figueroa and written by Simon Furman. War Within is amazing. It was done by Dreamwave back in the day. He looks War Within-y mixed with G1, and he's a tank Megatron because he can't be a gun, and I love that. So this toy, for me, a lot of people complained about it, didn't like the mold. For me, I love this mold, and I think it works so well. I love the paint on the Matrix. It looks like a candy coat of paint. I like the blue on the cannon. The bandolier is awesome. Right here, you can see the little trigger things on the shoulders. Those are vestigial. They serve no point whatsoever, so you don't really need it. Okay, so what I was saying before, when I was interrupted by my footage because I'm doing a voiceover, and that's not the way I should be doing this, but I've got a mic coming. What I was saying before, in '92, the G2 Megatron, that was my first Megatron. So this G2 that they came out with is my shit. I'll throw it up on screen right now. This prototype G2 that they came out with, not my shit. I didn't want this. This is the only one of the Megatrons that they came out with this mold that I didn't buy. So again, the leg unlocks, it comes down and accordions out. Now on this Earthrise model, there isn't a little peg on the hip for the leg, so you don't have to unclip that. But it's the same kind of an accordion style, it's the same engineering. Above, you'll see this. The tank treads have clips, top and bottom. Clips into the torso and clips into the top of the cover. That's also different from the Siege version. The Siege doesn't have those clips up there, so be aware of that when you're transforming it. This little shoulder piece by JLC. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. I will put up the link each time I say that. But if this little attachment at the top is 3D printed and is an amazing piece of engineering. I got it off of eBay. I recommend it for anyone who's got the G2 Megatron. It makes him very accurate to the comic book. Okay, with the cannon like this, he looks like comic book G2 Megatron. And I'm going to put up a comparison for that a little later. But for now, I'm just going to show this. The blade on there, I painted that so it at least looked metallic. And it wasn't like some green weird plastic. Then I really like how the blade arm cannon thing that's a monstrosity that he doesn't need, that's stupid. I love how it looks with the blade painted. That at least makes it serviceable. It seems to be the word of the day, is serviceable. Then you get a cannon from, or a gun here from Soundwave, and it's, you know, it's all gravy. It's perfect. Put the Allspark here. He's got the Matrix, this Galvatron's Matrix. Look at how awesome that is. That is awesome. I absolutely love that. It's beautiful. The silver paint, the camouflage, the bright, obnoxious green. Okay, that little piece in the back kind of fills out the back of the Sherman tank look. It's parts forming. People don't like parts forming. I grew up with parts forming, so I don't mind it. So that little piece in between the legs, that's something that Earthrise added. That's not on the Siege. But, you know, this is 95-80% the transform from Siege. It's the same engineering. See here how the leg unfolds and there's no clip on the hip? Yeah, I said that earlier, but here you can see it. And you turn this around. And then, like I said, there are 4 clips here on the tank treads. Just watch out for that when you're transforming it, because it clips to the torso and to that little cover piece. Love the Decepticon G2 logo on the back. That is amazing. So this upgrade kit is from Larkin's Lair. His gap fillers for the arms just kind of plug on. They're not a hinge like my other ones are. I'm sure Larkin's Lair is still selling this, but you can get this kit. You can kit out your G2 Megatron to make him look just like the toy. And yeah, then the cannon just plugs on the back. It goes up and down so it can pivot in tank mode, where the others don't go up and down, which there is a way to make them go up and down. But yeah, that is just great. I love that cannon. I love the way it works. I love how it can go up and down. This is very, very accurate to the original G2 toy. And that's just chef's kiss. And then here again, this middle piece fills out the Sherman tank look. That's just on Earthrise. So this is the standard Earthrise, which I've just shown this transform 3 times. What's different about this one is that there's only that little piece in the back that you're part forming, and then the cannon stays on the arm, which is something the G2 doesn't have, because G2 always had shoulder cannon, which, you know, that's just how G2 is. Now the toy, as it came out, the G2 version, it had the shoulder it had the cannon on the arm, because they're not going to re-engineer it to go on the shoulder. Now there was a shoulder peg, there was a hole that it could have gone on this is where my tongue stops working. There was a hole where it could have gone on the backpack on the Siege version, but they removed that. And so, yeah, now Earthrise doesn't have the hole for the shoulder. So it had to go on the arm. So that's why 3D printed upgrades came out, so you could get it on the shoulder. And I love that, I love that, I love that. So here's the standard Earthrise. It looks very G1-y, but at the same time it's a tank Megatron updated for today's audience. Perfect. It's got a cannon that looks G1-y. Again, this sword shield thing is stupid. And I didn't paint this one on the G1-y looking Earthrise one, but it's fine, it's fine. So here he is, G1 Megatron. So these are all of the different Megatrons that you got. And then I'm going to have another one after this. Okay, so here we go. Siege. I love it. You know, the battle damage paint, a lot of people complained about that. They didn't like it. It looks spattered on. I didn't mind it. I think it's okay. The cell shaded one, this was my first one that I got for Siege when I first started collecting it. Perfect. This is the Earthrise spoiler pack. No, he wasn't a spoiler pack, but he was a Netflix one. And this one here, exact same paint job as the first Netflix, except it's got different damage on the chest and it's got all the accessories. So those are more or less the same. Yeah, I love that Matrix. I love the paint. And then here, okay, you got the G1 looking Earthrise Megatron. Amazing. D16, that was his numbering in Japan. Beautiful. The original Decepticon logo on the leg. Beautiful. On the G2, it's the G2 Decepticon logo. Amazing. Perfect. Oh, right here. This is the one that took a tumble off a shelf and broke, and so I modified him to be the Megatron that survived his fight with Prime in Autobot City. And here we go with G2 Megatron, and I'm going to throw up this picture of the original toy. With these Larkin layers of 3D upgrades, he looks just like the original toy and evokes it so much. And the paint is amazing. The silvers, the treads, the abs, the obnoxious purple and green, the face paint. The face looks so much better with this paint job. Just, this is amazing. I love having this invoke that original toy that I had back as a kid. And here what I'm throwing up is the original comic book adaptation of him. And this cannon on the shoulder like this looks like the comic book. So there are 2 different versions of G2 Megatron, and I just love that I can have both. It's beautiful. It's amazing, and I love this thing so much. And as far as articulation goes, the leg and knee bend like this. You get a thigh swivel. You can close the heel spur and open it. You can bend. He's got the ankle tiltage. The knee 90 degrees about. You can do the splits. Again, thigh rotation. If you unplug the backpack, you can turn. You can get a waist swivel, but he doesn't have an ab crunch. The arm goes up that much. It can turn at the elbow as well as bend about 90 degrees. And the head is on a ball joint and can do an exorcist spin. And both arms have the same amount of articulation. And that's what you're pretty much going to get on all of them. So I only showed articulation on this one Megatron because the articulation for one basically goes for all of them, more or less. Yeah. I'll show other stuff later. Now, first, let's remove this little Allspark from the arm. And now, here's how this comes off. It just latches basically on the little holes in the back of the shoulder. They make those gaps and hollowness of the shoulder and the chest plate, make it so that this thing can attach more or less. And like I said, this matrix is basically like an accessory you would have with like Leonardo or Donatello with the Ninja Turtle toys, and I love that color. Look at the reflection from my ring light, the candy color, and it's just this thick plastic, and it's so well painted. This makes the price $60 a purchase for this guy worth it just right there for that matrix. Then here, if you take the Larkin's Lair one, since it's got the same holes, you can put this on there. Yes, 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 you can. And isn't that just amazing? Sometimes it comes a little undone, but once you get it into place, it'll latch on good. You lift the arm out, you latch it on under there, lift the arm out, latch it on under here, and boom, it's on. Now, because of the way the Larkin's Lairs is designed, this G2 Megatron here has the most articulatable cannon as far as it goes. It can go up and down. Then again, he can't hold the Allspark, so it's got to peg onto the arm like a little blast effect would. And I still think that's weird. I think there should be some kind of peg that the Allspark can peg into and they can go into a hand, a little 5mm peg, which is what I did with my 3D printed Allspark, which I'm going to show here in just a little bit. But yeah, so you can do all this, and that's pretty cool. So any one of your Megatrons can wear the bandolier if you've got this spoiler pack from Netflix Wave 3 of Kingdom. Now here are the blast effects that he came with, plus another one, a little pink one. I forget who that came with, probably one of the little mini bots. But they can plug onto them, same thing as the Allspark, and you can have them getting all like blasted up and being all hardcore like, I'm Megatron, you can't hurt me, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know which Megatron voice to do anymore. Frank Welker's or the guy who played him in Siege, since it's his Siege Megatron. Anyway, that's how these blast effects fit. And as far as Bluish compatibility goes, all of these cannons and all these different configurations of Megatron, every single one of them is going to be Bluish compatible. You need to believe that's true. So here I guess we're going to do Bluish compatibility. Which, yes, Bluish, that came from Emgo, who's another Transformer reviewer. He's updated the lexicon. It's a thing. It's just a thing. So, he can Bluish all over the place while getting Bluished by enemy fire, while holding the Allspark, while having the Matrix, while being a badass. Yes, he can. This G2 with the comic configuration of the cannon, he can also Bluish. When I did this, I didn't put a Bluish in Soundwave's gun there, but Soundwave's gun there can also Bluish. There's all kinds of Bluishing that can go on with these guys, and you know there is. I should have put it in Soundwave's gun, done a triple Bluish with him, but you're going to have to settle with a double Bluish from him, because reasons? Yeah, I didn't feel like going back and filming it, sorry about that. With this guy, we'll get a double Bluish, because the Larkin's Lair upgrades are Bluish compatible. Yes, they are. You better believe that, because of course they are. Why wouldn't he design them to be Bluish compatible? It's just 5mm. Of course he did. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. That's just amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Then, of course, the Earthrise is going to be Bluish compatible because it's the same toy as the other ones. So, Megatron can Bluish. Also, that Soundwave gun can be unfolded and put on the back of Earthrise Megatron and give him the look of having the gun on his back from the G1 toy. So that's a thing you can also do. Now, let's take a look at the Allspark for a second, because this is the one that comes with the Megatron spoiler pack, but there's a second one that came with the Worlds Collide Bumblebee 4-pack, and they're basically the exact same thing. They came out of the same CAD and the same mold, but one's bright colors while the other one's kind of darker, and I like this one right here. And yeah, it's got a little hole in the bottom, so these can even bluish. You can have it when Prime throws it off a Cybertron, it can have a little fire trail behind it, so you can bluish with your Allspark. That's a cool thing. So that's why it's got 2 holes on each side. That's a cool little playability feature, and I appreciate that. It's fun, right? And then it just pegs on here just like one of the blast effects would. Same deal. Which, you know, it's good design. If he can't hold it, at least he can have it on his person, you know? And here's a comparison of the color. Really, I like the one that comes with the spoiler pack. The Bumblebee one, that looks like a muddy green to me, or a sick green. Like, that looks like one that's been corrupted by orcs from Warhammer or something. Well, the other one looks like it's ready to revitalize Cybertron. You know? Yeah, this one right here, that's the one. Definitely. And here is the 3D printed one that I made for RC, or RC's holding it, but I put a 5mm peg on there so that people could hold it. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? Hasbro, look at what you can do. It's not that hard. It's easy, I promise. It only took me a few seconds, and I don't even really know how to do these things that well. Now, the first Megatron spoiler pack, I'm not even going to pretend to know the name of the sword and the gun. I'm sorry, but these little microformers, I have a bunch of them, but I always thought they were kind of just gimmicky. And, you know, like Proto Man on YouTube, he loves those things, but they're not really my thing. They're not my jam. But the first Megatron Netflix version came with this guy. He's got a little blast effect, so you can have a fiery sword. And yeah, this first Megatron, Netflix Megatron, came with the fiery sword guy. So these two are supposed to be Autobot prisoners, and they turn into like a little missile launcher gun thing, which this guy here, he is Bluish compatible, but I forgot to show him bluishing. Sorry about that, but yeah, he is Bluish compatible. They're Autobot prisoners, and Megatron can use them as weapons. Gun, missile launcher thing, and flaming sword thing. I know that some people like them, and I like them too. I think they're cool, but they're a little gimmicky for me. But, you know, they're okay, but I like the accessories that came with the second Megatron a whole lot better. You know? I'm just saying. And the transformation, incredibly simple, but, you know, I will say this, the paint on here is really nice. The silver paint really comes out nicely, and the orange and the translucent red, it's pretty, it's beautiful. You know, it looks good. I will say that. It's well done for being such a basic little thing that has such small parts on it. And also in the little tiger or lion mode or whatever it is, the little beast mode, you can put the fire on the tail to have a flaming tail on it. But I didn't think to record that, or I forgot to, or whatever. But yeah, there are options you can have with this guy. And they say options are good, so that's a thing that is a thing. Right there, yeah, you could put the blast effect on there and have a flaming tail if you wanted to. So, options. And options are a good thing. Whoop, let's see, right there, I almost knocked him down. That happens a lot, I'm clumsy. Especially with my hands when I'm moving too fast and I'm trying to do things. See, this guy, he's incredibly simple. Incredibly simple transformation. But, yeah, so you get this guy, and you get the lion sword thing. And those are the first set of accessories that come with the first Megatron. Yeah. And again, silver face, little red and black plastic. It works well. It's a cool little bot. It's a cool little gimmick. Now, as far as Skelovore goes, I thought the fossilizers were even lamer than the parts formers, like the weaponizers. I thought they were cool, but again, they're a little gimmicky and they're not really my thing. But, you know, here he is compared to Ractonite. and they are what they are. Some people like these a whole lot. Me, they're not my favorite thing. I've got a couple of them, but they're a little gimmicky. That's all I'm really gonna say. They're a little gimmicky for me, and I think they're cool that they transform and whatnot. But you know, it's parts forming to the max. I mean, it's fun for some people. It's not fun for others. Like this guy, I basically can remember how to transform him, but I'm always messing it up. But it only goes together so many different ways, so you just play with it a little, and eventually you figure out which way it's, like right here, you play with it a little, and eventually you figure out which way it's supposed to go. And there are some hollow bits on the arms and legs, so when you're transforming him, you kind of got to look at the hollow bits and make sure that you have everything in the right place, so that it all comes out right. But yeah, as far as it goes, you just take it apart, put it together. And the blue one, I like the blue one better than the standard one. It just looks prettier. But it's made out of transparent plastic, so that means it's more fragile and prone to breakage. So you got to be careful with Skelovore. A lot more than you probably do with Ractonite. But like, look at the face for instance. The face and the chest and the arm, the silver highlights, and the silver on the blue transparent plastic mixed with the translucent plastic. And right here you can see his actual face under like his skull mask. He looks cool. I'm not going to deny that. He does look really cool. But he's also super, super weird, and I can't deny that either. Yeah, you can store the weapon on the back, or you can put it in his hand and give him a sword. So, that's Skelovore right there. It's a weird thing, but it's a cool inclusion with Megatron. And here he is with Ractonite, and Ractonite or is he Paleotrax? He's either Paleotrax or Ractonite. I've been calling him whichever throughout this whole thing, whatever. He's fun. You know, here's the original paint job. His head becomes Optimus Primal's mace, because I guess that was one too many parts to include, because reasons, I suppose. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, as far as this abomination goes, he can stand on these back legs, but I encountered a problem while trying to armor him up and set him up for this review, and I don't know what they were thinking, but if you look here in the instructions, it clearly tells you that you're supposed to plug the blast effects onto the end of these legs, and there clearly are the blast effects. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be pegged on to the end of there. Somehow you're supposed to peg them into those holes. It's supposed to go on his back. It's supposed to make this abomination. Somehow he can balance on those feet. Right there he's balancing somehow. But if you look at the blast effects, they're flat on the back. They don't have any 5mm pegs. So there is no way to peg them into these holes on this thing. So I don't know what they were smoking when they were making the instructions for this. But it doesn't grok. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not even, you know, Gork and Mork could make this work. There's no hole. There's no peg to go in the hole. It's... the way my hand's moving in the recorded video, that's how it made me feel. It's just like, what is this? Why, Hasbro? Why? That's my question, is why? And some people, again, might think the armor's really cute. Then this, you can do this stupid abomination. Some people might think the armor up is really cool. I think it's gimmicky and it's silly. Putting the mace in the hand, that was so tight. I'm never doing that again, because I'll break it if I try to put it in his hand again. So this is what it is, but it's an abomination. It's weird. It's not my thing. Okay, with that out of the way, let's do some comparisons. Here is Siege Starscream with Siege Megatron. Here is Siege Soundwave and Laserbeak. Here's Shockwave from Siege again. Don't they all just look... They look just like they popped off the screen. They look amazing. And here's Galvatron with 3D printed pegs in the holes because the shoulders are misassembled, because they all are. Thanks to Larkin's Lair again. And here he is with Nemesis Prime. All I can say is they look like they just jumped off the screen. They all look amazing. And G2 Megatron slash Earthrise Megatron. Here he is with Earthrise Soundwave. Don't they just look amazing? Here he is with Earthrise Starscream. Again, amazing. The colors just pop on these guys. They look just beautiful. That's all I can really say. Here he is with Galvatron. Doesn't that look great? And here he is with Nemesis Prime. Yeah. The colors in these guys, just they all pop. They look amazing. I love these bots all in big group shots. They look amazing. Mwah. And here he is with Nemesis Primal. We need a closed mouth play version of Optimus Primal. Hasbro, get on it. That looks pretty good. And here's Beast Wars Megatron, old Barney face, because yes. Here's Dinobot and Galvatron in cannon mode just for fun, because why not? Now let's have some comparisons with a few notable Autobot leaders. Here is Siege Optimus Prime. Here is Earthrise Optimus Prime. All those colors just look great. Here is Ariel slash Elita 1. Again, all of these colors together just pop. These figures look great. Here he is with Kingdom Rodimus Prime. Man, I love this guy. This guy's a mini masterpiece. Oof. Here he is with Optimus Primal. And again, I want a closed mouth plate version of Optimus Primal. Come on, Hasbro. And T-Rex, because why not? I guess he's a maximal leader in the far future. The question is, does he say yes? Does he say that too? I do wonder. And last but not least, here he is with the OG himself, Generation 1 Megatron. What more is there to say? Old Trigger Crotch himself with the Creation Matrix in his case. And again, that just looks fantastic. Fantastic. What more can I say? G1 Megatron, it's amazing. From 1984 to 2021, look at how far we've come. It just blows my mind. So here's the end of the review. From Siege to Kingdom, Hasbro has you covered. They have lots of different options, and options are good. So these are all my different Megatrons, and there's all kinds of different configurations and ways you can do this and set this up. And you know, fun, using your imagination, that's the whole point of it. Here you got Skelovore with the translucent Mirage. Again, translucent plastic, it's scary, it scares me. And here you have the lovely RC modeling with my 3D printed Allspark, as well as the Hasbro Allspark, so you can see how those work out one last time. I like my 3D printed Allspark. I've been a little spoiled with it. Maybe I'm just a little biased, but you know, I'm at least appreciative that Hasbro gave us one. And here are the Megatrons again. These G2s, these are my Megatrons. These are the default ones for me. I love them. I love this G2 Megatron so much. This is my thing right here, and I'm all about it. So, if you watched the review this long, thank you. I appreciate it. Here are some pictures of my puppies, my dear departed Trunks and Koopa, as well as my current puppies. I have 3 dogs now. I'm watching my friend's dog. His name is Ryder. So here's Ryder, and then Gally, and then Daisy. If you listened to this review this long, I appreciate it. Do all the stuff below. Comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, like, subscribe, all that. Thumbs up or down, it's interaction either way, and I appreciate it. And have a good night, everyone. Thanks for coming, and I hope you're well.